hopefully bringing us back to what Park Forest was years ago with programming capacity for residents. To make that presentation to the board is the Chair of the Commission, Dan Karwatka. Dan?
Good evening. I'm very honored to be here tonight and excited to introduce hopefully a new chapter in our local origination program. As many of you know, one of our charges for the Cable Commission is to encourage communication by and between citizens, institutions, businesses, and organizations of Park Forest and neighboring communities. To do this, we believe that local origination, broadcast, and programming is essential. To give you a little history, back in 1996, we had a cable franchise agreement in place with Jones Intercable. Now, Jones Intercable provided for us an employee who actually did the programming. They had 3 or 4 employees who did photographs or did the videography, and then Chris went ahead and put together the programs. Matter of fact, I'll give you a few examples. Back then, he used to have library lecture series for mental health, mathematics, and other subjects. They had political updates for the region. They had Southland Chamber of Commerce, Will County board meetings, Community Connection, Rotary Today, in Rich Township, so Rich Township meetings, League of Women Voters, the Historical Society, Health Fronts, and school funding reform programs. What we didn't realize is that we had a gem there that was going to be taken away from us during our negotiations for the franchise agreement with Comcast. When the franchise agreement came up for renewal, Comcast made it very clear that creation of programming was not one of the things they were willing to do. So, basically, the Cable Commission started working in 2003 on a new cable ordinance. In 2004, started working on the new franchise agreement. And in 2005, on the rules of public access. In 2004, at the end of 2004, the new franchise agreement went into place, and we lost our cable origination program. What we started to do from that point on was to rebuild our cable broadcast infrastructure. The first thing that happened is in 2007, we worked on getting new broadcast equipment for the room that's in the back here. What had happened is over the years, that had deteriorated to such a point that it almost was put together by paper clips and bubble gum. So anyways, we went through, did some forward-looking assessments and found new digital playout equipment that could handle future digital broadcasting. Along with that came, soon after, improvements to the board, because part of getting the communications within Park Forest moving is getting the board and the information of the board meetings out to the residents. So a new audio system was put in, new cameras, a number of enhancements were made. We have PowerPoint, a few other things. So now we have improved, in that second phase, and not only improved the transmission, but then improved the board meetings. Now we come to the next step, which is now we want true local origination by the residents of Park Forest. Over the last several years, we've been looking at getting professional cameras in, but we ran into many stumbling blocks because professional cameras, or prosumer, not even professional, cost several $1,000s. And then on top of that, you need to train somebody, and they would have to know how to use special editing software. Fortunately, or unfortunately, funds were not available to purchase cameras at the time. So we waited until those funds accrued, and then what has happened is that technology has caught up to where we wanted it to be, and now we are purchasing, or have purchased, high-end consumer-grade cameras, which are equivalent to what used to be prosumer cameras. Not only has it given us the advantage of better quality, but it also has made the editing much simpler for the residents or whomever wants to actually create local origination. What we've put in place now is we purchased 6 cameras. The idea is that we want to be able to host or have somebody host 2 separate events at the same time. We do not want to short any one group just because somebody else kind of slid in right before them. So we purchased 6 cameras, generally set up for a 3-camera shoot for each. It contains a tripod that will go up 96 inches to get over crowds, a standard tripod, and a monopod, especially which works very well for places where you have to move around but still want to keep the camera still. We added shotgun mics for each set, and we also have extended length batteries. One of the nice things, if you've seen this before, this is an old digital tape. Okay, this one handles about a couple hours worth of video. It used to take a long time. I used to have to take this off of the camera, play it back into my computer for 2 hours to get the digital video down, and I only got standard definition. Now here's our new camera, nice little small thing, and it has an SD card, which is this small. Oops.
So small you can lose it.
This small, and it will hold the same amount of information but in high definition, and it really makes a big difference. Now I can take this and slide it right into my computer and actually edit the video directly from this. Further, beyond just getting cameras, because getting the cameras is only the first step, we actually are in the works of purchasing the equipment for doing editing. Now it's called a non-linear editor, meaning it's on a computer. Okay. There's a lot of editing software out there that comes with cameras. There's some that you buy special. The stuff you buy special can do many things, like edit multiple tracks at the same time, so you can cut between one camera and another. Anyways, this would be fantastic for, let's say, a graduation ceremony, when you've got a tripod set up in the back, and you've got 1 or 2 cameras moving around getting close-ups. So then when you put it all together, you can actually switch from camera to camera and have a beautiful production. Anyways, we're purchasing computer and software to be installed at the library. We know that the Village Hall has limited hours and limited amount of staff to keep track of this. And we, after musing over this for quite a while, figured out that the library would be a perfect place to put a piece of equipment like this, because it takes time for people to learn the software, to try out things, and they don't normally work or have availability from 9 to 5 to come into the Village Hall. So anyways, on top of that, it does not limit them to using our cameras. They can use their own camera, bring their video in, edit it, and then submit it to us. Anyways, in the future, we are planning even more exciting things for local origination. And these could be a studio if we have someone who actually steps up and does quite a bit of use with our system. We might want to help them manage a local origination broadcast studio here in Park Forest, or we may look at getting lower-end cameras and empowering our students in the schools to actually do their own PSAs, public service announcements, and help and submit those to the village. But we can see many, many things that this could be used for. Anyways, this is just the first step. It's a small step, but could not be done without the diligent efforts of our cable commission. I have to point them out, and I wrote their names down so I don't forget anybody. Tim Colburn, Terry Davis, Gary Marin, and Ricky Williams. Now, there have been others over the years who have really worked hard, and I can't tell you how committed these gentlemen are, and the women who have been on this board, to help get this done. On top of that, I have to tell you that in the past we've had Tom Minnick as our staff member, but currently we have Larry Crestis and Dolores Dubois, who we could not do without either. Anyways, in closing, I came across a quote from Margaret Mead, and I have to repeat this. It says, "Never doubt that a small group of thoughtful, committed citizens can change the world. Indeed, it is the only thing that ever has." Thank you.
Very good. Thank you, Dan. We want to thank the Cable Commission for its good work and for the staff for working with the Cable Commission. I'm totally familiar with what used to be our opportunity for local origination. I think most of us on the board had the opportunity at different times to be interviewed on some of those programs and things. And we were very fortunate in the very first cable franchise agreement that we had, which was with Cox Cable, the predecessors of Jones Intercable. And Dr. Mel Munchnick, who was the governor of state at the time, was the chairman of the Cable Commission and really was the person responsible for that excellent franchise agreement that we had. But unfortunately, when the federal government allowed for deregulation, which supposedly was going to increase the opportunities for local communities to have cable access, it kind of worked in reverse. It didn't increase our opportunities, and we lost a lot of the power that we used to have to control how things operated. Which in turn led to the inability to have the same kind of effective franchise agreement when the franchise came up for renewal.
Correct.
And that was part of what led to what we ended up losing a little of. But certainly what we have now with the work of the Cable Commission, the opportunity to have our citizens get engaged in learning the process, really, I think, is going to add to our community well-being because the opportunity for individuals to share the visual experiences that they have around the community really are very important. I can remember several things that we used to have that would be broadcast on cable, like our Hall of Fame ceremony on Sunday. And we've missed that over the last few years. So.
I have to commend the people who wrote that original agreement, franchise agreement. Had a Cadillac agreement. It was fantastic. It was forward-looking for the time it was written.
Right.
It really even picked up things that we were running into in 2004 when we went to rewrite it.
Yeah.
And
It's unfortunate that deregulation kind of took the teeth out of it. So.
Yes, I do have to agree. And that, of course, has limited our responsibilities. But at the same time, hopefully we're stepping up and actually advancing our community, our community participation.
Very good. Okay.
Thank you.
Thank you very much, Dan. Convey our appreciation to the members of the Cable Commission.
Did we move on to regular?
Yes, let's move on to
agenda?
regular agenda.
First